I'm out here. Situation would be like I'm stranded on my way on a winter snowshoe or something, and maybe a day hike or something, and had to stay over or something like that, or whatever, just out and about. Can't make it back, so got to stay out a night or something like that. So I'm out here. The wind is blowing pretty strong around through here. I got back into a little grove of some pine trees here for a little bit. Still blows pretty good through here, but I thought I'd find some boughs and stuff. My objective here is going to be to build me a bough mattress to lay onto, and then get out. I got a blanket. I'm wearing my fleece, my poncho, and so I'm going to make some kind of bed out of that for tonight, and I'll see what I can shoot of this in the dark here. We'll see how it goes. Well, I was hoping to nest out here into some. I was hoping to kind of nest out into some these pines around here, but it's too dense inside of there to get into it. So I'm just going to get right here on the edge of the trees here. I've already walked here a little with my snowshoes. It's kind of packed down just a little bit, and then use a bunch of boughs onto there to try to build up a bed, a mattress to sleep onto. Alright, well, the wind's died down momentarily, so just kind of give a little show of what I'm doing here. So there's my bed of boughs. I'm going to throw just a few more on, and I think I'll call it good. And as you can see, it's not very long. In fact, it might even be more than long enough, but really all I need is from my head to my back of my knees or so is all the length I need, and I've got plenty of width there. So I'm really pretty good. Probably just a few more little boughs here, and I might show you this a little more tomorrow. But you put the boughs in, you notice all notice the butt ends of the boughs are all on the outside all the way around. So that's what you want. You want the soft stuff towards the middle, and the butt ends on the outside, so that it's soft and nothing poking into you there while you're trying to sleep. Well, here I am. Hope you can see me. My lighting is blinding me, but I've got my boughs down here. I'm put them down about a foot thick or so. And next step is I'm going to take my poncho off and lay it out lengthwise, and I'm going to lay my survival blanket folded in half inside of that, then fold the poncho back over the top, because with the wind and stuff as it comes and goes here, that'll help. The wind's going this direction, so fold it back that way. That'll help keep the wind off of me, so I can sleep good tonight. So anyway, it's going to be a fun night, as it seems like usual. My first night anywhere, a lot of times it's after dark. But yeah, I mean, it's good training, because if you can do stuff after dark with just your flashlight, or sometimes even with just a full moon, but you know, that kind of tunes your skills a little bit, because a lot of what you're doing is kind of in the dark. So if you can do that while you're, you know, getting pretty well off as far as getting familiar with your gear and everything. Alright, so I pulled my blanket out of its stuff sack, and I just threw the stuff sack down into my little day pack, actually. I just compressed it down. That's one of our compressor bags. I just compressed it down so it fit in there. And then, so what I did was, so what I like to do, you know, since I'm not in a tent, I'm not you know, and I'm in the snow, you have a good possibility of losing a lot of things very easily. So, because of my circumstance tonight, I'm going to sleep in my clothes. And so all the loose stuff in my pocket I've dropped down into my compressor bag, and then I'm going to zip that into my little day pack here. And that way I'm just keeping the essentials that I can actually clip to something so they don't, you know, in the night fall off and I lose them. So everything else goes into there. And I'm about ready to finish up my bed, so I'll show you that in a second here. Alright, so on the side the wind's coming from here, I've buried the edge of my poncho from all the way from foot to head, 8 feet long. I buried that edge in the snow, and then I laid this back open and fold my blanket in half and put it inside of there, and then pulled this back over top, and then I'll enter along that side over there onto my bed of boughs and then onto my blanket. Anyway, so the wind's starting to kick up again pretty good here, but I had to take my poncho off to make up my bed and everything. So my fleece is holding the wind off reasonably well, but I don't want to stay out here a real long time like that. So I'm going to get all ready and climb into bed here, and then unless something weird happens, I'll probably just talk to you in the morning. Well, here's where I slept last night. Right here. I had, this is my poncho, and I tried to film this last night, but I don't know, it wasn't, lighting wasn't too good. But so I laid my poncho just on one edge. I sealed it with snow right here, and draped it over me, so the poncho doesn't go under me at all. And I just used my survival blanket, and I was nice and toasty warm. The winds were ferocious at times, 20-30 miles an hour, and just whipping through here. But I set this up so that the wind direction was going this way, so it'd kind of blow over me, and I could feel the wind, I could hear the wind, but it didn't affect me inside of here because the poncho blocked all that wind from getting at me. So you know, it worked pretty nicely. I put down about a foot of pine boughs from as long as about from my head to not quite down to my knees, and that did really well. Let me show you a little more of a close-up here of the situation. I've been out snowshoeing this morning, saw the sun come up over the hill, so I hightailed it out into the sunlight a little. Snowshoed about a half hour, so got my little Nano Stove here. Don't really feel like starting a fire at this point. Sometimes in the wintertime, fire just gets messy. Everything gets soggy and all that mess. When I went snowshoeing this morning, I took my Trangia stove and put it in my pocket. It's already full of alcohol, and I just like to spill a little on the rim there before I set it in here. But there we go. I found that the alcohol stoves can get a little tricky lighting when it gets 0 or below. So we try to warm it up. And I think Steve on his Firebox webpage, I think he sells a little flask that you can kind of a flat flask for your alcohol that you can put in your, you know, shirt pocket or whatever. So anyway, that's an option. Let this thing get going. I'm gonna have me some hot chocolate this morning. Something you'll notice here on the underside of the poncho here is all the ice crystals. So all my body moisture all the way down on here, as it pushed up through that blanket, it froze onto my poncho. I can just take my poncho now and just shake it off. All that moisture will be shaken into the breeze, and that keeps me from building up a bunch of frost in my blanket and everything. Alright, now before the sun really hits this poncho that's covering my bed here, I'm gonna take this apart and shake it out, because if I shake it now before you see all this frost that's accumulated, so that's pushed right through this blanket. This blanket is just totally dry. All my body moisture that evaporated during the night came out and froze on this because it's below freezing, and it's stuck to this. So before the sun gets on it, I want to shake all that off. I'll just shake it into the breeze here, and I will freeze dry, basically freeze dry all that moisture. And obviously, you see, as you get up more towards your chest and everything, there's a lot more of it. Now I've kicked some snow and junk into my blanket since I've been up milling around a little bit. But anyway, this is one of the advantages of using this kind of blanket. It doesn't hold on to the moisture, it passes right through. In fact, even during the night, I took my water bottle in there to keep it from freezing during the night. And at some point I must have been laying on the bite valve and probably laying on the bottle a little too. And so it squirted out a bunch of the water that was in the water bottle, but the blanket's breathable. Water just passed through it. So I mean, that water just drained through it, and I have pine boughs underneath, so the water just ran straight through to the ground. So I mean, yeah, I didn't even get wet, so no big deal. So I'm going to shake this deal off here and all that sort of thing, so you can start putting up some of the camp. And I'll kind of reverse show you how I set this up, because it was so dark last night when I was setting up camp. Alright, that was my pillow, my foam pillow. Nice and cozy. My headlamp right here, I'll just toss that down there. My boots, I'll probably put those on a little. I'm going to probably do a little more heavy duty snowshoeing before I go. Some leather mittens. And now I'm going to pull this poncho. Now you'll notice as I pull this, see, I banked this down with snow last night. Look at that. So that sealed it. The wind was gusting probably 30 miles an hour or more at times. And so packed down like that, that kept the wind from picking up this edge. Because I just wanted this thing to drape over the top of me, so I'd have good wind protection. So this helped throw the wind up over me like that. So that really, you know, that put me well below zero with the wind chill last night. So all I do is take this thing out And all that frost that's in there. Look at that. We just shake it. Most of the most of the frost is out of there. All the big stuff's out. So now, since I do have a sunny day, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of let this hang up on a nub of this little quakey here. Whoop. Like that. Just let that get exposed to the sun. Now I'm going to come in here and grab my blanket here. And it doesn't matter that much, just gets in the snow. All I want to do right now really is just shake off any ice chunks or that kind of thing. Just kind of get as much of that stuff off of there. A little bit of snow is no big deal here. So what I'm going to do here is fold this thing up a little. And I can use that to sit on or whatever. And now you can see my bed of pine boughs. Let me come move the camera down there a little closer so you can see those. Ah! Sometimes I step in the snow, I go up almost to my hips. Whoa! Alright, so here's my nice bed of pine boughs here. There's my nice bed of pine boughs right there, about a foot thick. And I was showing last night how, see all the butt ends, when you break off the boughs, all the butt ends go to the outside. So the only thing in the middle is the nice soft tips of the boughs. And I'll tell you this, whoop. Well, that kind of stunk. There you go. Well, I'll tell you this pine bough bed was just every bit as comfortable really as sleeping at home. When you construct these properly, I'd tramped down the snow with my snowshoes last night so it was nice and level and even. And I put these on there and I put them on in a herringbone pattern, layering them up with the butts to the outside. That keeps them all locked in so they don't shift away during the night. And if you do this right, you'll sleep on this just as comfortable as your bed at home. And that's what it's all about. You want to sleep really good when you're out at night, out camping or whatever, especially in a survival type situation. So anyway, I'm going to continue kind of gathering up my stuff from sleeping last night, and then I'm gonna have me another cup of hot chocolate, and I think I'll go do me a little bit of snowshoeing and compete with these snowmobilers out here. Okay, so here's the little footwell. I thought I'd try to give you a little better shot of it. You know, when you're in the camping in the when you're camping in the snow and everything, you might as well make yourself cozy, because you can be your own architect in the snow camping. You can make your own lazy boy or couch or bed or whatever. So I like to set up my bed like I've done and stomp down a little bit of area where I get in and out of bed. So I got kind of a footwell down here that's lower, almost chair height, and it's easier to put your boots on and off. It's easier getting in and out of bed without punching your hand way down in the snow somewhere. You know how you can do that. And so that's just a little tip. But my hot chocolate looks like it's boiling actually. It's plenty warm. So I'm going to have me a another cup, and then I'm going to get out and about for a little bit and do a little snowshoeing around. Well, so I just finished a cup of hot chocolate that I cooked up on the Firebox Nano Stove. That's that little folding stove here. And now I'm using the Fire Ant by Emberlit. And both of these stoves, of course, accommodate the Trangia or other similar alcohol burners. And the thing I like about these two stoves is, number one, both these guys are my friends. and very, very good guys. They do the best they can with trying to produce some good gear. And but what I like, and the reason I kind of favored these, was because I can burn wood or whatever else in the fire chamber of either one of these stoves. They both have fuel feed ports, or I can bring a Trangia or something like that along, and I can cook that way as well. And so either one, it gives me kind of an option. In the wintertime, a lot of times I'm not really big on fires, because a lot of times in the wintertime, gotta warm my hot chocolate back up. A lot of times fires in the wintertime just make everything all gooey and wet. So, you know, if you're dressed well enough, which I am with my clothing, my fleece over me, and my booties and everything, you know, I'm good enough here. I'm sitting on my survival blanket, kind of padded up, so I don't feel any cold underneath me. I'm cozy as I can be right here. You know, it's not that bad. But anyway, so I'm not really a stove reviewer. In fact, I don't really review much of anything other than our own gear. But I just wanted to show you these two stoves that I like to use. And it comes in real handy right now. Like, see, there's a fallen log here under the snow. I just scraped the snow back. Now I can sit here comfortably, and I can cook. And I'm not having to stoke a fire or anything like that. I'm not melting everything around me, you know, making the snow all soggy or anything, but I can still have something hot to drink or a hot meal, and you know, I'm good to go. In a moment, I'm going to show you one other thing with the Nano Stove. Steve modified. The new models come ported here with for another a setup that allows the Trangia to sit up higher in the Nano Stove. And I'll show you that in just a minute here. I'm going to have me some hot chocolate now. Alright, so here's what I was showing you, the Nano Stove. They've made an update to it here. So these little rods slide through some holes that come in the new Nano Stoves. The old ones can be retrofitted as well. And that way you can drop in a Trangia or any of the similar sized burners. So you can burn it on the bottom, or you can burn it up here a little higher. Either way, so it gives an adjustment. And I believe Steve also has an adapter for this where you can put a gas burner in there too for I think butane or whatever. So, but anyway, so I mean, I'm not pitching either stove. I like them both. I use them both. I'm not a big, like I said, I'm not a big stove user, but they do have a time and place, and this is one of those nice places. Another time I like to use a stove like this in the winter, or even if you got some rainy weather and you're pitched under a tarp shelter or something, you know, you want to use one of these in a floored tent or anything, but you know, if you have a floorless tent or a tarp type shelter, why, these work very nice inside of there, and you can cook, and you can use the alcohol, and you don't have to really worry about you know, gases and stuff like that in there. So anyway, so there's these two stoves, and you know, you can see the difference yourself. This one's a titanium. This one I have here is stainless, but it's also made in a titanium. And so they're both can be quite lightweight. This one's a folding stove. This is the panel stove. So basically you can kind of decide what kind of stove you like to use or whatever, and then you can take your pick. And like I say, one of the nice things I do like about it is I can burn twigs in here, either one of these stoves. So say I'm out and I run out of alcohol or fuel or whatever, I can always use twigs and I can still do my cooking. Or if I'm in an area where that's really handy to do, I might just do that and save my alcohol for, at a time when, I really need it, where I really need it more. So anyhow, getting some more chocolate going. One thing I wanted to point out for you is when you're especially in the wintertime, your body really craves fat, and fat provides a lot of energy per gram, 9 calories per gram of energy versus 4 for protein or carbohydrates, roughly. And what you can do with like hot chocolate, what works really well, the military's done some things like they've made some hot chocolates that are actually extra fatty. So in the wintertime it gives you some extra energy. Well, you can do the same kind of thing. Just bring a little square of butter, a little pat of butter like you get at a restaurant, or cut some off of a little cube of butter. And in the wintertime you don't have to worry about it melting because it's cold anyway. And just drop that into your hot chocolate. And it gives, once it melts into there, it gives kind of a really rich, creamy taste to it. And it'll give you some extra fat and energy out of your cup of hot chocolate. So that's a little tip along the way too. Right here we've got some thistle plants right here. They're as tall as I am. When you get down here at this one, you see all that. A lot of these have a lot of this fluffy seed down still on them, and that can be used very effectively as a flash fire starter. Now these won't burn for very long, but if you put them in a big pile and fluff them up pretty good, and then put your other materials around it, it'll do a really quick, almost like an explosion, a real nice flash. So even in winter time, you can find little bits of stuff like that that'll do the trick for you. Well, this has really been fun, snowshoeing around on the lake shore here, and you can hear the snowmobilers in the background. This is a great snowmobile country. It's a beautiful day. Not a cloud in the sky here. It's phenomenal. What a blast. Hope y'all have a lot of fun when you get outdoors. Summer, winter, spring, fall, whatever it is. Get out and enjoy it.